That I'm Kurt Emshausen, the Emshausen Group and Dynamica Labs. We've got a history of working together for the last 5 years, developing solutions for commercial real estate that are ultimately intended to really help solve some of the problems that have been historically unattainable within commercial real estate. We've thought about commission calculation, a CRM, which I've been part of an organization, 2 different organizations where I was responsible for the CRM, and that became almost a career limiting move just because CRMs are such a challenging thing in commercial real estate. We sort of set out to tackle that challenge with sort of a paradigm shift of thought around how we actually get realtors, brokers, property managers to actually embrace that kind of technology around a CRM. I think we've come up with something pretty interesting. So data versus information versus knowledge. What we found about, so one of our clients, we were looking at the deals since 2017, and there were 28,837 deals in their platform. Well, what did that really tell us? We had 28,000 deals, but what does that really mean? How do we use that to win business? I need information that goes with that. And then information, as defined, is knowledge communicated or received concerning a particular fact or circumstance. How do I turn that information into knowledge? Ultimately, what matters in the real estate industry? What does every broker tell me is their key? It's changing a little bit in the dynamics. It used to be all about relationships. Now it's about relationships and data. I need to look smart. I need to understand my geography. I need to understand where I'm headed, but I also need to be able to have those relationships work for me. Or they're ones that someone else has cultivated, and now I'm going to try to use the power of our organization to capture that value and help bring new team members into that relationship to help expand business with an existing client. So when we think about relationships, out of those 28,000 deals, we kicked me off the platform for some odd reason. So out of those contacts, we ended up with out of those deals, we ended up with almost 14,000 connections. Well, how do you harness the power of that? Relationships are the currency of our business. How do we create a paradigm shift from relationships we have to relationships we use? To me, that's so important. What I kind of heard consistently on the real estate side from all my broker partners were, I have all these great relationships and I use them to generate my book of business, my revenue. And then I'd hear from brokers who were either trying to expand the national platform, working on occupier solutions where they're not as traditionally one relationship to a building, and therefore you'd lease a building. There were more multiple relationships, a very dynamic or organic sort of relationship. How do I tap into relationships that the other 1,000 brokers in this firm have to help grow a particular line of business we're trying to expand on? It's either extremely profitable, maybe that's trending in the right direction, something like that. So we really said, how do we do that? Well, one of the big challenges to accomplishing that is privacy. It's all private. Everybody wants it to be private. I don't want to share too much about who I know, what I know, and how I use that to be my differentiator. That's how I've spent my career building those contacts, building that information about those contacts. I know what type of bourbon a particular person drinks. I know what kind of restaurant they particularly like. That's currency for me that I don't want to give up. Well, and that's okay, because we've created opportunities to shelter that data at the individual level, but provide a collective value in getting the information out to people that know which brokers within the company to connect. The power of the collective team without risk of revealing the secret formula, if you will. So time, me enter data, no thanks. I don't have time for that. Well, we recognize that's a challenge, and it's not because anybody doesn't want to, it's because literally there's only so much time in the day. We've kind of challenged ourselves to come up with a better answer to that. Access. I like to use I'm all thumbs. It's got to be on my mobile. I got to be able to access it with my thumbs. I don't want to be on a keyboard typing in information. So here, just a quick view of some of the screens from a portion of our application. we actually have a collection in our application that is more than just mobile capability. It's more than just those connections. We have brokerage-centric dashboards showing commissions, off the tops, off the bottoms, rebates. Each broker gets their own Power BI dashboard to really get them a view into how they manage their own business for themselves personally, really valuable for them. Property management database. As I was saying, so it's really a traditional CRM in terms of real estate, but it ultimately, we deal data. So we're not dependent upon people entering in information. They have to contribute to, it helps create an opportunity so that when a broker wants to know who else in the company has done a deal with a certain company, they can look that company up, see all the brokers that have done deals with them, see the types of deals that they've done, and where those deals have been done. So it really helps tie the company together instead of sending out that email that says, has anyone done business with KBS? Well, probably sure. Most large brokerage houses have done some deal with KBS. Being able to look on a mobile app to see who that actually was, what kind of deal it was, is it relevant to what I'm trying to accomplish? Does that make sense? I think that's really the key. And that's something that that's kind of the key of what we've tried to do to make a CRM for commercial real estate that doesn't face the same challenges in adoption that most of them do. So we're going to be in Exhibit Hall B. We have a booth up there. So if you want to see more specifics about the product, please join us later. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, Kurt, do you want to share your contact information?
Of course, yeah. So our website is Dynamic Labs. That's my development partnership. Ultimately, I should have my phone number up on the last slide, but I don't. But you can certainly find me on LinkedIn. Kurt Emshausen, I'm former Chief Administrative Officer of Transwestern Commercial Real Estate and Cassidy Turley prior to the Cushman buyout. So, and like I said, we'll be in Exhibit Hall B if you've got any questions or you want to see the product up close.